Both the TV, refrigerator, microwave, washing machine, sofa, and table. Everything is my personal property.
The bed we bought after getting married is shared property, right?
You said, you've been saving because you're a civil servant, right, and asked me to buy it. But I purchased it with my savings from when I was single. So it's my personal item. The only things you bought with your own money are the game console and Blu-ray recorder. Well, they're nice to have, but we wouldn't be in trouble without them. As I assert this, Peyton falls silent, wearing a face that seems to say, "Grr." I am Beatrice, a 26-year-old occupational therapist working at a university hospital in the city. I live with my 2-year-older husband and his mother. We splurged on a newly built house last year, and we plan to pay off the 24-year mortgage together. My husband's name is Peyton. He works for a fairly large company. We met when I had just entered society, during my early days at the university hospital. It was at a forced group blind date that we crossed paths. I only went along to fill the members, with no particular interest in men. I didn't want to associate with people who treated group blind dates as a place to hunt for women. However, Peyton was also reluctantly dragged into it. And that's how we hit it off. Although it's a bit embarrassing to say we met at a group blind date, we've agreed to tell people it was through a friend's introduction. We dated for almost a year and eventually got married. Shortly after our marriage, my father-in-law passed away, and that's when I started living with my mother-in-law. And then, while we were still young, we decided to splurge and build a house last year. 2 years into our marriage, I thought we were leading a smooth life, but since both of us work, we divided household chores. My live-in mother-in-law hardly does any housework. Despite being just 54 years old, she enjoys a leisurely retired life. Thanks to the inheritance from my late father-in-law, she often goes out with friends. As for household tasks, I handle laundry and cooking, while Peyton takes care of cleaning and other chores. One day, as I was about to wash Peyton's shirt, I caught a faint whiff of women's perfume. And to my surprise, there was even pink lipstick on it. The first 2 times, I pretended not to notice. However, one holiday morning, it happened for the 3rd time. The same perfume scent, the same pink lipstick. Isn't it rare for someone not to suspect infidelity in such a situation? Hey, Peyton. What's this?
Ha! What are you talking about?
I showed him the pink lipstick stain on his fragrant shirt. Just to clarify, are you cheating? But it wasn't Peyton who answered. It was my mother-in-law.
Don't say ridiculous things. You're the one who doesn't trust Peyton, aren't you?
However, irrefutable evidence had emerged. Despite my mother-in-law's anger, I ignored her and asked Peyton. And then,
I have feelings for another woman. Not you, someone else.
He confessed to the affair so casually. Can such a careless affair really exist? He's been seeing a 22-year-old woman from his workplace for about 4 months. My mother-in-law seems to find it delightful, but I feel utterly foolish. Even though we just built this house, isn't this a bit much? I voiced my objection honestly, reflecting on my own actions. Perhaps our short courtship of less than a year was the downfall. I thought I was marrying a decent person and building a home together, but I failed to see through his character.
If you want, we can break up.
What? Why so high-handed? I was genuinely annoyed.
Beatrice, Peyton looks elsewhere because his wife falls short.
Excuse me? It's too much to defend him just because he's your son.
As a wife, you should be a little more patient.
Why are both my mother and my husband acting out and acting so superior? Marriage is about equality. It's absurd to expect only the wife to endure. Peyton, if you want to marry that woman, then we have no choice but to part ways.
Fair enough. Beatrice, why don't you leave? I'll be living with her. Lorraine.
Peyton said it without a hint of remorse, leaving me utterly exasperated. Can I ask you something? Why did Lorraine become the better choice? When I asked, Peyton responded with a smug expression.
Unlike you, she doesn't nag me. You, as my wife, keep telling me to clean or take out the trash.
We had already decided to divide household chores since we were both working. If you dislike doing housework so much, why didn't you say something? Besides, his energetic mother is also around. He could have asked her for help. But to run away to another woman over such trivial matters. What's wrong with this man? It seems I made a grand mistake in a crucial life decision because of him.
Exactly. It's absurd to make the husband do housework.
Could you please stay quiet for a moment? We both work, and our incomes are nearly the same. We have to share household tasks. What if I were to give birth? How would we manage without shared responsibilities?
Your attitude is why he's finding a mistress outside.
She said it with the same smug expression. This mother-in-law seems to always side with her son. Despite the situation where divorce due to Peyton's fault is inevitable, she remains assertive.
Peyton, go ahead and remarry that woman. Beatrice is no good.
Yeah, I'll give you 2 or 3 days. Beatrice. Please leave.
Once again, he's acting superior. It irritated me, but I responded with a smile. Sure, understood. Make sure to get the divorce papers, won't you? Honestly, what am I going to do? I immediately started preparing to leave the house. Since it was Saturday, I wanted to escape by tomorrow. I'd like to go to work on Monday as if nothing happened. Or rather, I'm annoyed that I have to use my vacation days because of Peyton and his mother. I decided to discard the clothes and accessories Peyton had gifted me. I gathered only what was necessary for work and daily life. Surprisingly, I didn't need much for myself. The moving truck, which I had called in a hurry, arrived in the early afternoon, and the movers began their work promptly. Following my instructions, they carried my belongings. Peyton and my mother-in-law seemed to be out. They were probably having a meal or at the courthouse. By the time most of the items were loaded, the two of them returned, looking satisfied after their meal.
Oh, Beatrice, you're still here? Sorry, but could you leave soon?
Oh, don't worry. I'll disappear today. At that moment, one of the movers informed me that the loading was complete. I'll be leaving now. Take care. I got into my parked car on the premises and started the engine. From outside, I heard someone shouting strangely, "What on earth?" Then Peyton appeared, blocking my way. It was Peyton who had shouted earlier. "Hey, get out of the way! You'll get run over!"
Wait. What do you mean, Beatrice?
What? Did something bother you?
Don't mess with me. Give me back my furniture and appliances.
Furniture and appliances? You mean the ones that were loaded on the truck?
Of course! Give them back. They're mine.
No way! Are you trying to get compensation? Don't steal, please!
They need to face reality. What do you want me to give back?
Don't play dumb. There's nothing left in the house except the game console and the Blu-ray recorder. How am I supposed to play without a TV?
I opened the car window and he barked at me on the driver's seat. I had no choice but to get out of the car. Was there nothing else left?
Only a carpet. There's no TV or fridge. Where am I supposed to sleep without a bed?
Buy a sleeping bag or something.
Don't joke with me. There's only mom's stuff left. That's not right.
Are you trying to extort me for exercising my legitimate rights? Peyton glared at me with a look of disbelief. I had to explain it to him clearly. What's wrong with taking my own things, my personal belongings?
That's theft. They're all marital property.
They're my personal belongings, you know? I checked my diary because my memory was fuzzy. They're all things that I bought.
Don't lie.
When we moved to this house, we couldn't afford to buy new furniture and appliances, so I've been using the ones from when I was single, right?
They're still marital property. I use them too.
Marital property means the assets that we built together after we became a married couple. We didn't have enough money as a couple, so I contributed my own funds. The TV, the fridge, the microwave, the washing machine, the sofa, the table. They're all my personal belongings.
The bed is marital property. We bought it after we got married.
I was a public servant, so you said I must have saved a lot, right? And you asked me to buy it. I bought it with my savings from when I was single, so it's mine. Well, I don't know much about the law, and I don't know the details. Maybe the bed is marital property, but the rest are definitely my personal belongings. Including the things you begged me to buy when we were dating. The only things we bought with our money as a couple are the carpet. The only things you bought with your own money are the game console and the Blu-ray. Well, they're nice to have, but I don't need them. He fell silent with a look of frustration.
You're a devil! A devil who's stealing the property from your husband!
I'm leaving him, so I won't be his wife anymore. Besides, the one who's trying to take the property from someone else is Peyton, right? And he's the one who committed adultery, the act of infidelity. He must have spent money on Lorraine too. I'll be suing for damages, so look forward to it. Hearing that, Peyton, who had been silent until then, screamed in a strange voice.
Why? Isn't this supposed to be an amicable divorce?
Where's the amicability in this? I think it's strange to expect not to be sued. I sensed Peyton's delusional brain and felt empty. Why did I marry him?
Then no property division. I'll fight the damages. Who needs such old-fashioned appliances anyway? This house is in my name. It's mine!
Oh, I let you have the name only for yourself. Well, good luck with the mortgage payments.
Get out of my house!
I don't want to be with you anyway. Goodbye.
Wait! Is the car yours too?
It's the car I've been driving since I was single. What about it? Do I have to explain it to you again like before? I was finally freed from the pointless exchange. I didn't care about the house. I let Peyton do as he pleased. I'll probably have to fight over the damages from now on. I stayed at a business hotel for about a week. During that time, I searched for a place to move and completed the procedures. The moving truck kept my belongings for a while. My parents' home was about 3 hours away by car, and it was hard to go back. It would take me 3 hours to get to work if I went back to my parents' home. I had gotten a job at a university hospital near where I went to college. I had been living in this town for about 8 years since graduating from high school. Marriage and divorce. I never thought I would experience either. I settled down after starting to live alone again, and then I got a call from Peyton.
Hey! Why are you suing Lorraine too for damages?
Hello? You can't commit adultery by yourself, right? By the way, are you living with Lorraine? There was no reply right away. After a pause, Peyton squeezed out his voice.
Of course I am.
Okay, good for you, Mr. Show-Off.
What? Is this your doing? Give me back Lorraine.
Oh, did she run away from you?
What did you do to her? This is your doing, isn't it?
I didn't think the two adulterers would be able to get married so easily. She's a co-worker, right? You divorced me and married her. It's obvious that you were having an affair. You work at the same place, after all.
She quit because of you.
She quit because it was uncomfortable, right?
It's your fault.
She would have stayed at work if you hadn't cheated.
Oh. That's not true.
After she quit, she was shocked by my claim for damages and contacted Peyton again. I wonder if I should tell him one surprising development. Lorraine said you lied to her that you were single. She wants to sue you for marriage fraud.
What?
She said she wants to claim damages for being deceived. Lorraine just joined the company as a new graduate, right? We got married before she joined. How wicked of you to deceive such a girl. Actually, I met Lorraine at a cafe the other day. It was easy to contact her through Peyton's coworker. The coworker was more sympathetic to me than to Peyton. When I greeted her as the ex-wife, Lorraine was trembling. There, I told them both that I was suing them. Lorraine apologized in tears and said she didn't know he was married. It didn't matter to me whether that was true or a lie. I had already left him, and I had no more interest in Lorraine. So, I told her one thing. If you were dating him while he hid the fact that he was married, you were deceived too. I said that to her. Lorraine went back to her parents' home, right? Why don't you pay the damages for her instead?
Don't be ridiculous.
By the way, it's double damage for me and Lorraine. If you pay the amount I'm claiming from Lorraine, it's triple.
Don't laugh.
But it's someone else's problem. I can laugh. Peyton was ranting on the other end of the phone, but it didn't solve anything. I ended the call, saying I'll let my lawyer handle the details. Peyton paid me about $10,000 in damages. Lorraine also had to pay me about $5,000. But Lorraine received about $8,000 in damages from Peyton. She ended up with a plus. So maybe quitting was a learning experience. A while after the exchange of alimony was over, I got another contact from Peyton. Do you still need something?
Help me, please. I can't borrow any more money from anywhere.
Peyton was spending a lot on alimony payments. On top of that, the monthly loan was weighing heavily on him. That's right, it was different from when we were married. I paid for all the living expenses and Peyton was in charge of the loan.
If I pay for both living expenses and loan, I'll run out of money. I also had to buy new furniture and appliances. I borrowed as much as I could from consumer finance. I'm in trouble with debt.
Why don't you sell the house? You can pay off the loan. There was no way the loan would remain after selling it.
Even if I sell it, I won't have much left after paying off the loan. My money is negative now, so I can't rent an apartment. If I sell the house, I have nowhere to go.
Still, it would be better to reduce the debt than to keep carrying a large one. Peyton had lost the ability to make such important decisions. Why don't you sell the house and reduce the debt, and get some protection from the government?
Mom says she hates the shame.
It's not the time to talk about shame. Anyway, just sell the house. The debt will decrease. He should have sold the house and moved to public housing as soon as we broke up. I didn't say that. If he had done that, the loan would have been repaid before the wallet went bust. Peyton had become a debt hell by clinging to that house.
Please, Beatrice, lend me some money. I quit my job and ran away with money borrowed from my colleagues. Dad's inheritance is gone, too, Mom says. The part 1 inherited is gone, too, for living in loan.
It sounds pitiful if you only hear this, but I was also a lot of things, being cheated on and divorced. I have no reason to help Peyton, who I broke up with. There was no child between us. No one would blame me for cutting ties. Hey, we broke up because of infidelity, right? I was cheated on and kicked out, you know? Don't you have any relatives or people who can help you? Just go bankrupt and give up your vanity and get some help from the government. I can't do anything for you, and I have no reason to.
Beatrice, please reconcile.
The former mother-in-law seemed to have interrupted the phone call.
Let's live together again. Call me Mom. You can remarry Peyton. I'll forgive you.
That's worse than lending you money. Now that the divorce is over, Peyton only knows my cell phone number. They know my parents' house, of course, but they probably won't ask for help. Can you please stop contacting me? We're divorced, you know. We're strangers.
Oh! What an ungrateful wife!
I'm not a wife anymore, so I have no reason to talk. The former mother-in-law who ate up her husband's inheritance in a few years was pretty bad, too. I quietly hung up the phone and blocked the call. If they contact me again or contact my parents' house, it will probably be a stalker case and go to the police. It's been almost a year since the divorce. I haven't heard from Peyton and his mother. I heard a rumor from Peyton's coworker who lent him money and got scammed. Peyton and his mother abandoned everything and ran away to escape from the debt collectors. They seem to be living on the streets, changing places every day. By chance, I drove by the house where we lived during our marriage. The exterior had changed and there were strangers living there. Well, If the two of Peyton and his mother are alive, that's fine. I'm enjoying my life every day, and there's someone I'm interested in. But this time, I'll date him for a bit longer and make sure.
How did you like this story? Please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.
By the time dinner was finished, it was already 7:30 p.m. My daughter and son-in-law, who had said they would come back by 6 p.m., left their son Liam behind and haven't been in touch since. Perhaps tired from playing and having a full belly, Liam is now dozing off, looking drowsy as he nods off. But he's also got a bit of sand on him from his exploratory play, so it's time for a bath. Liam is only 5 years old. I fill the bathtub with warm water and prepare Liam's favorite character-themed bath bomb. It's one of those ones that releases a toy from inside, and I'm sure Liam will enjoy it. Bath time. I call out to Liam and James. As Liam woke up, he suddenly exclaimed,
"I don't want a bath. I haven't done anything."
He started running around the house. We were puzzled by Liam's words. After all the playtime, how could he claim to have done nothing? Liam's tense expression left us questioning. Even when we managed to get him into the bath, it was clear that washing himself would be a challenge. As I washed Liam from head to toe, I caught a surprised expression on his face reflected in the mirror. I had no idea why he was acting that way. Perhaps because of this lack of understanding, I was left bewildered, wondering what was going through his mind. Liam hesitantly got into the bathtub, and gradually, his expression softened. Then, he uttered a surprising statement.
"Baths are warm, aren't they?"
Huh?
"I don't like the bath at home. But Grandma's bath is fun and warm. I like it."
As I continued listening, he blamed himself, tears welling up in his eyes. I am Mary Smith. For the past 50 years, I have been born and raised in this town. It's not a place where trains come every 2 minutes like in the heart of the city. Instead, we rely on buses that come approximately once an hour, or we drive our own cars for daily life. Being in the countryside, my parents and relatives encouraged me to spend my entire life in this town. Personally, I don't feel restricted living here. In this area, it's considered normal for women to focus on their homes. After graduating from high school, I married James, whom I met through an arranged marriage. While being a homemaker, James is kind and treats me well, without any domineering behavior. After a few years of marriage, I was blessed with a daughter named Sophia. She is like a precious treasure to us. We made every effort to shield her from societal pressures and gossip. When she was little, it seemed like she enjoyed life in this town. However, the rural customs and mindset didn't quite align with the younger generation, including Sophia. Our relatives, who have lived here for a long time, often criticized her harshly. Gradually, Sophia spent less time at home, and a distance grew between us.
"I'll be studying at school today, so I don't need dinner."
Her desire to leave this countryside must have been what motivated Sophia. Starting from high school, she immersed herself in her studies even before we could say anything. Unlike the city, there aren't many tutoring centers or private tutors available. She diligently attended high school classes and stayed for self-study after school. Even the choir club she wanted to join has now become a thing of the past. It seems she prioritized study time over club activities. Sophia's hard work paid off, and she was accepted into her top-choice urban university. Her life as a solo city dweller began. However, since she had already helped with household chores back home, there were no issues. In fact, while juggling part-time jobs and student loans, she managed to navigate university life without relying on us. Of course, we still sent her financial support, but Sophia insisted she didn't want to burden us. Although she accepted the packages we sent, I didn't know what she did with them. It seemed she didn't touch the money I transferred. After graduating from the School of Education without any delays, Sophia became a middle school teacher. She met Michael Pitt, a colleague at her workplace, and they got married during her second year as a working professional. Why does this story feel distant? Well, it's because we haven't had much contact since she entered university. For Sophia, this countryside and our family home are places she'd rather avoid. Sophia once declared,
I'm not staying in this town. I'll continue living in the city. The transportation is convenient, and I can do anything there.
Over the past decade, we've met Sophia face-to-face only a handful of times, mostly when we visited her city due to James's work. Our interactions usually revolved around dining out as a family of 3. Michael never attended our family gatherings. The only time he and Sophia visited our home was before their marriage.
Since we're getting married, I thought it would be proper to introduce myself.
However, Michael didn't seem particularly interested in our family home. Since you've come all this way, would you like some tea? I offered. Michael declined, saying,
No, thank you.
As for Sophia, she left immediately after the greetings, as if that was the only purpose.
I have work tomorrow, so I'll head back now. You've seen Michael, so you should be satisfied, right?
We never had a formal meeting with Michael's parents, and I've never heard any details about them. Whenever I asked, the answers were vague or non-existent. I don't even know his family structure or where he's from. Take care of yourself. And remember to reach out occasionally. We were feeling the loneliness, but unable to convey it to Sophia. We anticipated being ignored if we expressed our feelings. I didn't want to experience the sadness and emptiness of being ignored. Besides, I've heard that being a teacher involves a heavy workload. Both of them serve as club advisors, often working on weekends. Our home is too far from the city where Sophia and Michael live. Perhaps the difficulty of casually returning home contributes to the growing distance. Unbeknownst to us, Sophia has been changing steadily. Yet somewhere deep down, the desire to start anew as a family still lingers. Internally, I harbored a sense of frustration toward Sophia. About 3 years after their marriage, Sophia and Michael welcomed a son. They named him Liam. He's our first grandchild. When we received the news of his birth, we rushed to the hospital. Our plan was to see his face and leave promptly. After all, right after childbirth, both mental and physical fatigue accumulate. Plus, I understood the desire to enjoy uninterrupted parent-child time. Considering it was winter and infectious diseases were prevalent, we didn't want to risk bringing anything into the hospital. Congratulations on the birth. If you need anything, don't hesitate to rely on us.
And occasionally visit our home.
Suppressing the longing to spend more time together, we kept our visit brief. However, even when Liam turned 1, Sophia and Michael still didn't visit our family home. Our desire to see Sophia and Liam intensified after the birth of our grandchild. We tried to maintain contact by spacing out our phone calls. We didn't want to be intrusive, but hearing their voices always made us yearn to see them. If coming here is difficult, we'll come to your place. Or perhaps we could all go somewhere else for a visit? Not necessarily home.
I'm busy with club advising and test grading.
In that case, how about we take care of Liam? We'd love to give you a break, but...
Your feelings are enough. I'm too busy to let Liam visit. If you can take him to the zoo or a park for outdoor play, that would be great.
Thank you. After that, we started taking care of Liam approximately every 6 months. Sophia would leave Liam with us in the morning at the nearest train station to their home.
I have to accompany the club's competition, so I'll leave him here. I'll come to pick him up around the usual time.
We would then take Liam to places he wanted to visit, such as the aquarium or amusement park. Sometimes, we'd spend the day just watching trains go by. At parks, Liam would run around freely, but in public places like the aquarium or shopping malls, he'd behave quietly. Sophia and Michael both work as middle school teachers, so they've likely instilled good manners in Liam. We praised Liam a lot and played with him. When we gently stroked his head, he was surprised at first, but gradually, a happy expression appeared on his face. Around 6:00 p.m., Sophia would finish work and come to pick up Liam. As we visited more frequently, Liam started crying when it was time to go home. He seemed to understand that we would part ways as evening approached.
I want to play more with Grandma and Grandpa.
We'll see you again soon.
You have kindergarten tomorrow, so we need to head back.
With a tinge of reluctance, we watched Liam's retreating figure. As he grew up, the feeling of not having played enough also arose. I wanted to increase the frequency of play a little more, but Sophia's schedule also played a role. Since he didn't stay at my house, the time we could spend together was short. I have even suggested staying over during long breaks. However, Sophia strongly insisted on all three of them sleeping in the same house at night, and that hasn't been realized. I've heard that boys only seek comfort until they're little. As I have only raised a daughter, there are things I don't understand. Sophia often said she wanted to cherish this very moment. I couldn't disregard her feelings as a mother. We conveyed that we were always welcome whenever and were waiting for her contact. When Liam turned 5 years old, we received an unusual phone call from Sophia.
This year, work is more settled, so would it be okay if we spend the Christmas holidays there?
We don't mind at all. You're welcome anytime. Sophia returning to our family home marks the first time in approximately 8 years, since the pre-marriage greetings. Perhaps Liam has become less demanding compared to his infancy, which makes Sophia's visit more feasible. Since receiving her call, we've been eagerly anticipating the rare occasion when our whole family would be together. Although I've always had the tradition of preparing roast turkey and Christmas ham, this year, with more people, I'm putting even more effort into it. Given that Sophia enjoys rib roast, I'll make sure to have extra. And of course, I've prepared French fries, Liam's favorite. James, too, had been meticulously cleaning and tidying up the house in anticipation of his first grandchild's stay. As he marked the calendar and counted down the days, I couldn't help but smile. James, though not very talkative, expressed his excitement through his demeanor. It's clear that he was eagerly looking forward to Sophia and her family's visit. Finally, the day arrived. We received a message that Sophia and her family had reached our nearest train station, so we went to pick them up. This area is inconvenient without a car, but it's too far for them to come directly from the city by car. They were making the effort to stay overnight with us, and we wanted to provide the best hospitality possible. Welcome back. Come on in.
Thank you for picking us up.
With beaming smiles, James and I helped Sophia and her family into the car. We assumed that in the first few days they would be spent relaxing at home. However, our expectations were soon overturned.
It's been a while, but nothing has changed around here.
Given the aging population and limited prospects for development, I don't expect much change. Is it okay if we head home?
We have plans with friends, so please take Liam home. Could you drop us off around here?
So, with Liam still in the car, Sophia and Michael got out midway.
We'll be back by 6 p.m. Take care of Liam, okay?
Be a good boy.
As Sophia and Michael left, Liam silently watched their retreating figures. Although he didn't voice it, his loneliness was palpable.
Liam, let's play together. Since this is your first time at our house, how about an exploratory play?
We've got French fries and pudding too. Seeing Liam's forlorn expression, we felt sorry for him. We wanted to make him happy, so James and I teamed up, doing everything we could. As we played with Liam and he enjoyed the treats I made, his smile brightened our hearts. Witnessing our grandchild's laughter was a precious moment of happiness for us. The promised 6 p.m. came and went, but Sophia and Michael didn't return. Not only that, despite our repeated calls, there was no response. Anxiety crept in. Had they been in an accident? The last bus had already passed, and this wasn't a place where taxis were readily available. Our location, surrounded by fields, lacked nearby convenience stores, and the sparse streetlights didn't offer much reassurance. It cannot be said that there was absolutely no possibility of an incident occurring. While preparing to be ready for any communication or pickup request, we waited for news from them. Instead of the planned family dinner for 5, it was just James, Liam, and me around the table. Of course, we had saved portions for Sophia and Michael. To lift my slightly disappointed mood, Liam's beaming smile as he faced his favorite French fries did the trick. He devoured them all, and it was the first time I'd seen him eat so much.
Grandma's homemade food is incredibly delicious.
The French fries I'd prepared specifically for him disappeared entirely. Witnessing his hearty appetite was a new experience for me. By the time dinner was over, it was already 7:30 p.m. Liam, tired from playing and having eaten his fill, was dozing off, looking drowsy as he nodded off. Despite his drowsiness, he had a bit of sand in his hair from their exploratory play, and it was time for a bath. I filled the bathtub with warm water and prepared Liam's favorite character-themed bath bomb. It's one of those that reveals a toy inside, and I knew Liam would enjoy it. Bath time! I called out to both Liam and James. Suddenly, Liam's eyes snapped open, and he declared,
I don't want a bath. I haven't done anything.
Confused, we wondered why he'd say that after a day of playing so much. Liam, I've prepared the bath for you. Get in. I tried to reason with him. But he was too busy darting around the house to listen. He slipped under the table, then raced up the stairs. It was a comical chase. Liam, our 5-year-old grandson, and James and me, a couple in our 50s. Despite helping out with farm work, I suddenly felt my age in every joint and muscle. Finally, with James's help, we managed to corner Liam. His tense expression left us puzzled. It wasn't just about being caught, there was something more to it. We couldn't quite grasp why he'd react this way after losing a simple game of tag. Liam's face held a deeper secret, one that intrigued and concerned us both. Having made him to the changing area, Liam hesitated to undress, so ultimately, we helped him change. It seemed challenging for him to wash himself, so I carefully washed his hair, down to his toes. Through the mirror, I could see his surprised expression. Why was he acting this way? I had no clue, and that uncertainty left me puzzled. Liam gingerly stepped into the bathtub, and gradually, his expression softened. Then, he uttered a surprising statement.
Baths are warm, aren't they?
Considering his previous behavior, I sensed that something was bothering Liam. Perhaps it was related to his aversion to baths. Unsure of how to approach the topic, Liam began to explain.
Well, baths are where I can be splashed with water, right? So why do I need to take off my clothes?
No, Baths are for cleaning your body and getting warm. Why would anyone splash water on you? Liam hesitated but finally shared.
Mom and Dad say I'm a bad kid. They threaten to punish me and always take me to the bath.
Despite his parents' words, Liam refrained from blaming them directly. Instead, he blamed himself, nearly on the verge of tears. It was a heartbreaking moment.
I don't like the bath at home, but Grandma's bath is fun and warm.
Just a while ago, Liam had looked like he was about to cry, but now, as he soaked in the tub, he wore a smile. I hugged him tightly. Surely, he'd faced many hurts we didn't know about, and I wanted to protect this smile forever. Despite his reluctance, we managed to convince Liam to get out of the bath before he got too overheated. As I dried his hair, I realized he probably hadn't been to a barber either. It tugged at my heart. But I also understood that Sophia's work was indeed demanding. With Liam snuggled into the freshly made, soft bed, he fell asleep quickly. I thought I would play and make him enjoyable tomorrow. I resolved to cherish this moment, gazing at Liam's peaceful sleeping face. After confirming that Liam had fallen sound asleep, I confided in James about the bath incident.
I see, that's quite concerning.
His expression grew serious as he listened to my account. It seems Liam's aversion to baths and the sudden crying before parting were related. I continued. I'd also noticed something in the bathroom. Take a look at this. Liam's body, now peacefully asleep, bore numerous bruises. Some minor bruises were expected for a 5-year-old boy, but the sheer quantity on Liam was abnormal. Each one was hidden beneath his clothes. Bruises on his stomach and back were particularly concerning. Those were places where someone would intentionally inflict harm. While Liam freely played in some areas, he displayed an unchildlike maturity in public. He wasn't the type to pick fights or act out. James clenched his fists, clearly unable to tolerate this situation.
Even when dealing with one's own child, there are things that are permissible and things that are not. This is absolutely unacceptable.
He immediately called Sophia and Michael, but neither of them answered. I want to protect Liam right away. I wonder where I should turn for help in situations like this.
Going to the Child Protect Service might take time. Considering its violence, even if it's against the child, let's contact the police.
James bravely made the call to the police. Even if Sophia were my biological daughter, I have no recollection of raising a person who would raise her hand against another, let alone her own child. Please let it be a lie. Such thoughts, which could also be seen as escapism, were floating in my mind. However, looking at Liam's expression in the bath with that bruise, I couldn't help but recognize the harsh reality. Why didn't I notice sooner? I'm furious at my own dullness. Despite it being 10 p.m., the police arrived at our house promptly. Although I had explained the situation to some extent over the phone, I needed to provide specific details on the spot. As I showed the police the photos of Liam's bruises that I had taken, Sophia and Michael returned home.
Is this your son?
Yes, but what's the matter?
Michael's tone grew stronger as he confronted the police officer.
We've received a report about multiple bruises on his body.
He's a boy, so he plays around and sometimes gets bruises.
It's unlikely that bruises would appear in these locations just from normal play. Also, your son mentioned that he was doused with water from the head.
Well,
the two of them couldn't answer the police officer's questions, and gradually their voices faded. Michael, who had been assertive with the police, was no longer the same. After a brief silence, Sophia began speaking frantically.
It's all Liam's fault. Despite being a teacher's child, he's performing poorly. It was just a minor punishment.
Blaming everything on Liam. Sophia and Michael started insisting that they had no choice but to do what they did. Their words infuriated me. However, if I lost my temper and confronted Sophia and Michael now, I'd be on the same level as them. Suppressing the urge to raise my voice, I waited for the police officer's next move. Suddenly, James, who was standing next to me, headed somewhere. He returned promptly, carrying a bucket in both hands. In the next moment, he poured the entire bucket of water over Sophia and Michael's heads. Even the police officer and I were taken aback. James stared at the two of them with an expressionless face and said,
"I've only returned a small portion of what you did to Liam. Never set foot in our house again."
The police officer turned to Michael and Sophia, asking,
"Could you please provide more details at the station?"
Sophia reluctantly replied,
"Fine."
Sophia and Michael headed to the police station with the police officer. The commotion had become quite significant, and it seemed that Liam had also woken up. "Don't be scared anymore. Let's all rest together tonight," I reassured Liam. In an attempt to alleviate Liam's fear, James, Liam, and I climbed into bed side by side. I couldn't help but feel an overwhelming sense of anxiety about what would happen next. However, there was no use dwelling on it now. I had to convince myself that this was the only way to protect Liam. As a result of investigations by the police and Child Protective Services, Sophia and Michael were formally arrested. Apparently, in addition to what Liam had told me, they had subjected Liam to various mistreatments. At times, they even withheld meals from him, and when his bruises were severe, they kept him home alone instead of sending him to kindergarten. The kindergarten teacher had also sensed something amiss and had set up a system to observe Liam more closely. His smile while eating French fries and large portions of food were likely related to these events. The fact that Sophia and Michael were arrested was reported in a small local newspaper in their area. Since it was a case of naming names, their workplace was quickly identified. Naturally, the news also reached our rural community. For a while, Liam stayed home from kindergarten due to concerns from other parents. Our neighbors bombarded us with various questions. While some were understanding, others were harsh in their words. Still, it was comforting to hear that everyone agreed that reporting the incident was the right thing to do. Given their arrest and the cause being child abuse, even if they were released on bail, they likely wouldn't be able to work in their original fields. On that day, James pouring water over them in front of the police officer was resolved as a warning. Meanwhile, Liam began living with us. He will start elementary school next year. Although there was a school nearby, it had only one class per grade, and the number of students was small. Additionally, rumors circulated about his parents' arrest. In this small countryside, gossip could be detrimental. We decided to establish a new home not far from the house where Sophia and Michael had lived. We couldn't let go of the house itself because it had been passed down through generations and had a family garden. Liam also expressed a desire not to be separated from the friends he had made in kindergarten, so we started splitting our time between the two places. Initially, Liam was fearful of his parents' shadows.
Did I do something wrong by causing all this?
You're okay, Liam. You're a good kid.
The words from his parents during his early years had left a lingering curse. We worked hard to create an environment where Liam could feel safe and gradually remove that curse. He safely enrolled in the elementary school near his original home, where he made new friends alongside his existing ones. Witnessing Liam's heart gradually soften brought us immense joy. Now, several years later, it seems that Liam is living freely and comfortably. Except for times when he catches a cold or feels unwell, he attends school every day, and sometimes hangs out with friends before coming back home. On weekends and holidays, he helps out with rural farm work and household chores. He's also started new extracurricular activities.
I want to try playing soccer. I asked Dad before, but he said no.
That's fine. Try everything, and see what suits you. Gradually, Liam began sharing his feelings and thoughts with us. As grandparents, we stepped into the role of actual parents. Despite the challenges posed by our age and occasional back pain, we even participated in the parent-child relay race during the school sports festival. During a recent open school event, Liam wrote about us in an essay titled "The Person I Admire."
The people I admire are Grandma and Grandpa. They always think about me and tell me when something is wrong.
We want to continue protecting that smile on his face. Hearing his essay, James and I were moved to tears and reaffirmed our commitment to Liam's well-being.
How did you find this story? If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing to our channel. Until next time.